Are you looking to take the next step toward investing in commercial real estate but don't know where to go? CRE Central offers a comprehensive education and coaching platform designed to help you get started. Our online courses cover a wide range of topics, from the fundamentals to advanced strategies, ensuring you have the knowledge and skills needed to thrive in this competitive industry. As a member, you'll gain access to our exclusive online community and monthly group coaching calls, providing you with valuable networking opportunities and personalized guidance from experienced professionals. Whether you're a beginner or looking to take your career to the next level, CRE Central has the resources you need. Visit www.crecentral.com to learn more. Welcome back to the Commercial Real Estate Investor Podcast, live from the Cobble Group Studios here in Nashville, Tennessee, for another episode of Office Hours, where I'm diving into your questions. Whatever questions you have on commercial real estate, we will answer them live here Tuesdays, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. I mean, look, commercial real estate's not easy, but it is pretty simple when you know how to do it, and that is exactly what I am here to teach you. Let's see. Let's dive into what's been going on this past week since I last spoke to you all. It has been an interesting week for sure. Had a deposition all day on Wednesday, which was a lot of fun. Literally 9:30 a.m. until 5:15 p.m. We were at an attorney's office hearing from a former partner of mine that stole a lot of money from me. And it was a very interesting conversation because his MO the entire time that we've been going through this lawsuit is to deny that I was even involved in the project, which is hilarious. Considering during discovery, they handed over even more evidence than I had that I was involved in this project. And then he decided to change his tune and say, basically admit during the deposition that I was a partner and that I did have some shares in this deal. Here's the thing. This is the first deal that I ever did. It was with a partner, a mentor that I definitely trusted, probably a little too much. So what I would recommend, and I didn't get anything in writing, right? This was back in 2015. I didn't have the money to get an operating agreement done. I wish I had borrowed the money to make that happen. So you guys hear me talk about that all the time. That is the reason why. I always say, get everything in writing. Doesn't matter who it's with, doesn't matter what it's with, or what it's regarding. Make sure that there is something in writing somewhere that confirms it. Fortunately, we have a bunch of text messages and emails, which in the state of Tennessee is considered a contract. So it's, anyway, it's just interesting. I mean, it's a beautiful thing watching a really good attorney ask a line of questions, because you can, if you understand where they're headed, you can kind of see what the trap that they're laying. My former partner did not see that one bit, which was really great. I mean, it was beautiful to watch. Really interesting. It's an unfortunate part of being in commercial real estate. You're just going to be involved in these lawsuits and depositions and dealing with attorneys. And you know what? It's a cost to doing business. I tried not to do business with people like that, obviously. But unfortunately, when there's money involved, you can't always control that. So it's just something you got to be prepared for. We had the Leadership Nashville opening retreat this weekend, which was phenomenal. Some of y'all may know that a couple of years ago, I went through Leadership Nashville. They select around 40 or 50 people every year to go through this special program to learn more about the city and how it works, right? So you've got Government Media Day, you've got Education Day, Business Day, Arts and Culture Day, Quality of Living. It's really, really interesting. It's such a phenomenal and amazing thing that's put on here in Nashville. And last year I got to serve on the logistics team. So I actually got to go back to all of the classes, all of the days, and serve the last year's class. And now I'm officially an unemployed alumnus. So I got to serve on the opening retreat committee and welcome the class of 25 as they were getting ready to go through the program. So phenomenal weekend, really cool to see. We always kick it off up in Mount Eagle, about an hour and a half away from Nashville. So we had a good time. It was very enjoyable. Let's see. Oh, first Preds game of the season. Come on. You guys know I'm a huge Preds fan. We actually moved seats this year. I used to have 4 tickets. We moved down to 2, which I'm kind of honestly bummed about. I had 4 tickets because I was like, you know what? This is going to be great. I'm going to bring friends with me all the time. I'm going to bring clients, whatever. There's a couple things that went wrong with that. First of all, I'm a huge hockey fan. And so for me, if anybody ever asked me to go to a game before I had season tickets, it was like a hell yeah, I'm dropping everything, we're going. And so, but most people don't have that opinion on it. So it's very interesting. I've had friends or clients cancel the day of from going to these games, and then here's the other thing. I kind of realized this towards the end of last season. I kind of wanted people to cancel it because then my girlfriend Lena and I we got to have basically a seat buffer between us and everybody around us, and we got to just focus on the game. So I decided, you know what? It's time to renew. Let's not get 4 seats. Let's just go down to 2, since she and I love just watching the game the whole time. So it was a good game. I mean, it's a preseason game, and we lost. Of course, we played the Carolina Hurricanes. So not exactly a phenomenal start to this year's season, but we're really excited for what could transpire. We've got some phenomenal players that we traded for in the offseason. And it's hands down my favorite thing to do in Nashville. If you ever come to Nashville, you ever visit, try and do it during hockey season and go get some tickets. There's not a bad seat in the house. It's always a fun time. Yesterday, we also recorded, I'm trying out a new series here on YouTube, and I want to know what y'all's thoughts are when we start to release this. But I'm doing a 2-minute video series, right? Something that's just quick, punchy, to the point, teaching you guys on one, smaller aspect of commercial real estate. And, my thought was like, hey, when you go and search on, certain topics, sometimes you just want a small 2-minute video that literally just shows you that thing, and that's it, right? None of the fluff, none of the, well, hey, here's some other things that you should consider. Not saying that my videos have fluff in them. I don't believe they do. But, we have a 10, 12, 15-minute video on triple net investing. Right? That's because I'm going into the pros and cons, and here's how to structure your lease, and here's how to do this, that, and the other. Whereas, we'll do a video here on, what are the downsides of triple net investing. And it's just a very quick 2-minute video covering that. So once we start to release those, I think that will be in the next 30 days, give or take. I would love y'all's thoughts on them. Hopefully you guys like them. Last night, we had our group coaching call for the CRE Accelerator program, and we were diving into one of my new students. Her name is Kate. Diving into her buy box and working through the buy box. And that's something that I think is so important for every commercial real estate investor to work through. And her biggest question was, is my buy box right? And the answer is yes, of course. Whatever your buy box is right. But it is important to think through why some aspects of your buy box are the way that they are, right? Why do you think that price per square foot makes sense? Why do you think that absolute net leases are what you have to go for? Everything depends. It depends on your current situation. And, my comment back to her and to the group as a whole is really, look, your buy box is a living, breathing document. It's basically your thesis, right? As you're going in and looking at these investments, you're going to have a theory as to what buy box is going to be best for you and what you've got going on. And it's important to be open to changing that, right? And be willing to, be flexible with the terms that you've got going on there. So that was a lot of fun. Let's get into some of the comments here now. See what we've got going on. Oh, by the way, question of the day. What is your buy box? I want to know. What are y'all looking to buy? What are the level of details that you've got into in your buy box? Because that's what you're going to share with commercial real estate brokers as you're going out there and searching for properties. That's what you're going to share with other investors as you're going out and trying to raise capital. It's important to have a buy box pulled together. It's basically your 30-second elevator pitch on who you are and what you've got going on. Team Paul is saying luxury custom home builder in Houston looking to enter commercial. What is a good entry point and how to best use my experience in residential building and apply that to commercial investing? That is a great question, Paul. So a good entry point for getting into commercial, I think in general, is something that's relatively similar to what you're already doing, right? So, don't go off and build, a 1 million square foot manufacturing facility, right? Because that's a very custom type of commercial real estate. I would go for something that's in high demand, right? That's going to be relatively easy for you to go through and work on, right? And that's probably going to be flex space or some sort of lighter industrial today. right? Because if you can build a home, you can, like, especially if you're doing luxury custom homes, you can definitely build industrial or flex warehouse space. So I think that's a good entry point. It's relatively inexpensive compared to some of the other types of commercial real estate that you could be building. And there's a lot of demand for it right now. So everybody on this channel that has been following me for a while knows I'm a big fan of those types of assets. So highly recommend that. Joe is saying, dislike people that let greed get to the best of them. Why can't we all win together? Dude, I 100% agree. Like, look, there are more deals out there than you could ever possibly do on your own. Why do you need to go and try and screw other people over just to make another dollar? That's so ridiculous to me. But hey, man, there's a lot of those people out there. Evan's saying, is there a typical acreage amount of wetland you try to stay below for a new construction commercial project? Yes, the typical acreage I try to stay below in terms of wetland on my property is 0 acres. I try to stay away from wetland altogether. Fortunately, Nashville doesn't have like any wetland. We do have floodplains that you have to be aware of. And you know, it just complicates it, in my opinion. If you live in a market where there's plenty of other land, then I would say just go find something that's a little bit easier, right? It's like buying something that's unentitled and going through a rezoning process. Why not just spend a little more time trying to find something that's already entitled? Because there's a lot less risk involved in that. But I mean, it depends. Like if you're in Miami, you may have no other choice, but you got to just deal with the deals that have hair on them now. So could be worth it. So that's what I would say is I would stay away from wetlands. But if you have to, then maybe it can count towards, part of your green or open space, credits or requirements, depending on where you are. G, what's going on, man? He's saying, good morning, Tyler. Where can you find rental comps for multifamily? So multifamily is the only instance in which I do recommend that you get CoStar. I'm not a fan of CoStar. I have my own reasons for that. We won't go into it here because they're incredibly litigious. But when it comes to data and comps, they actually have correct information when it comes to multifamily because they own apartments.com. So that's where I would go. Jared Sullivan saying, good morning, Tyler. Good morning, Jared. Good to see you, man. Right now, my buy box is smaller multifamily properties in Austin suburbs, looking for seller finance deals. I love that. I would dial that in even a little bit further. Let me pull up the buy box from Kate last night. I'll kind of walk you guys through some, because this is the typical buy box that I recommend that my students put together. And it's going to have a handful of things that we cover. That's always just good to have at least an idea of how you would approach it. So price, cost per square foot, right? So yeah, I mean, you could be in the $1 to $5 million range, but maybe you're not going to go over $100 a foot or over $80 a foot, right? Do you want some sort of value add component or not? What is the stabilized cap rate you would like to achieve? Incoming occupancy, age of the buildings, term. If you're looking at like commercial leases, like the number of years on the lease, and what type of leases you've got, right? Are they modified gross, full service, triple net, et cetera? What type of tenants do you want in place? Do you need national credit, or could you look at regional or even local credit tenants? And then, you've already got the market. You've got the asset type. So yeah, man, I think that's a great little buy box. Austin is growing like crazy. And man, if you can find some seller financed, multifamily in the suburbs there, you'll be doing pretty well. Jeff is saying hockey isn't a real sport. Jeff, you're done. You're kicked out of the group. No longer a student of mine. He's saying, oh, well, just kidding. Question, what's your take regarding jumping on my local economic development corporation committee? Any experience, good or bad, with that type of thing? Jeff, I think that's a great question, man. I would highly recommend it. Why not? Why not get the experience? Why not go meet the people? And why not see how the process is run? Because when it comes to something like that, it's only going to benefit you as you blossom in your commercial real estate investment and development career. I think it's a great idea. I think we need to have a conversation though about hockey. Let's see. Leveraged VA is saying 2-minute videos, great idea. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. I will. I appreciate that. We'll have them out here probably in the next 30 days. So I'm excited to see what you guys think. Jay is saying this is going on right now. Jay, I'm not sure what you were referring to as going on right now, but yeah, this live is happening right now, literally as we are speaking, if that's what you're asking about. I am live. Leveraged VA is saying, Tyler, big fan. Keep up the great work. About to start my workout. Enjoy your week. Phil, thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate the kind words. Thank you for coming out here. Joe is saying, and also have a good workout. Joe is saying, what struggles do you commonly see new commercial investors face? Everyone talks about the good. That's a great question. New struggles that new commercial, or like common struggles that new commercial real estate investors face. One is understanding the capital stack. You know, when it comes to commercial real estate, the way that the money is done, this side of the business is very different. You know, if you're a residential investor, well, I mean, some of these investors that are savvy on the residential side are used to putting like 0 to 10% down in their deals. So that's often a sticker shock is, oh my gosh, I have to come up with, 20 to 30% down on this deal. Yeah, you do. Because the banks just view it as inherently more risky. That being said, the upside potential is significantly higher. That's why some of the wealthiest people in the world will still put up with putting down 20 to 30% of their deals. As far as, I mean, look, you can go out and raise capital for them. I think on the operations side, that's a big piece that new investors don't necessarily think about. Like, you don't necessarily have to increase rents on every single deal you do in order for you to increase the NOI and therefore the value of the property. You could just streamline your operating expenses, right? Get rid of anything that doesn't actually serve you. Get rid of things that are maybe bloated in terms of expenses. Try and trim your expenses down where you can, because every dollar you save could come back tenfold, depending on how you've got it structured. The other thing that I would say is, not, almost being too rigid in some ways, or trying to come in from let me phrase it this way. When you first got started as a residential real estate investor, you read all the books, you listened to the podcasts, you went to the seminars, you joined the groups, right? And I see a lot of investors think, oh, I've already done that, so I don't need to do that getting into the commercial side of things. That's not true at all. Residential and commercial real estate might be in the same industry, but they are two different sides of the same coin. I mean, y'all have heard me use this analogy before, but it's like hiring an environmental attorney to represent you in a DUI case. Yes, both attorneys, both went to law school, two totally different types of law. You would never hire that person to do that. It's the same with residential and commercial. And, they're very different. And so, when you're making the switch from residential to commercial, treat it as if you're starting over again, right? Read the books, listen to the podcast, watch the YouTube videos, jump in on my live streams and ask whatever questions you have. I'm happy to answer them for you. Go to the seminars, whatever it is, do everything you can to learn, because it's very different. And here's the thing. And I say this on my CRE Accelerator student onboarding calls. It's important to know what to do right in commercial. It's almost more important to know what not to do wrong, right? Because commercial real estate has incredible upside potential. And a lot of these deals, even if you totally screw everything up, as long as you buy it right, or you approach it from the right angle, you'll do just fine. But if you do it wrong, or you just don't know what you don't know, there's potential there for you to lose a lot of money. And so I have seen that. So just set the ego aside, get back to learning. It's always good to be always learning. Joe's saying, what parameters do you look for when figuring out a market is good for flex? For example, I'm in Michigan and there's a lot of supply of older light industrial. Ooh, that's a good question. First thing to do is to just survey your local commercial real estate brokers. They will be able to tell you exactly what the market doesn't have. And here's what I would do. I would just call them and say, hey, what types of businesses, what types of tenants are calling you all the time that you're either ignoring those calls because you don't have anything, or you're constantly having to tell them, sorry, we don't have any of that product available. Every single broker that I've ever talked to will always have at least one product type that they will tell you, I don't have enough of this. And that's a great start. Those guys are on the front lines of commercial real estate investing. And if they're saying, hey, we don't have enough of we've got plenty of the light industrial space that's 10,000 square feet or higher, but we don't have anything that's under 5,000 feet. There you go. That's a pretty good indication that maybe you should go build something that's less than 5,000 square feet. The other thing is to just look at, what available flex properties are there and see, one, how long are they sitting on the market? But two, what's actually available compared to how big your market is, right? If there's a lot of vacancy, yeah, probably not, don't build in that market, right? But if it looks like there's one or two properties available, there's probably, something there that says, hey, these properties are in high demand. Now, you still want to do your market research, but look, when it comes to determining where to put a flex space, I like to be as close to interstates as possible, as close to, central downtown as possible. That's not always possible, just considering how expensive land can be. But as long as you have strong interstate access, that's really all that matters. They don't need visibility. They just want good spaces. Jeff is saying, I'll come out there sometime during the season and see if you change my mind. LOL. Appreciate all that you are contributing to do here, brother. Appreciate you, Jeff. Yeah, man, come on out anytime. It's, look, you don't have to be a Preds fan or a hockey fan in general to have a lot of fun at those games. It's just a good time. Seriously, best thing to do in Nashville. FLRSO is saying, how much do you see the Hurricane Milton affecting insurance premiums nationwide? I think it's going to be devastating for insurance premiums nationwide. The Hurricane Helene, you've got insurance companies that are already meeting with North Carolina. And I think that this was happening before, but now they've got an even stronger case. They were meeting with North Carolina to talk about raising premiums, I think 42% on average across the state. So there's some places on the coast of, North Carolina that were going up like 100%, and some, I think Asheville was going up like 20 or 23%. I think it's going to be a lot higher after Helene. So I think it's going to go up quite a bit. I think that you might see some insurance companies that get acquired by bigger insurance companies because they're going to go under. I don't know how the insurance companies are going to be able to pay out everything that they're going to have to pay out, honestly, in order to stay solvent and adhere to their responsibilities, right? I mean, there's going to be a lot of damage. Here's the thing. I mean, Helene was bad. Milton's going to be infinitely worse because, everybody was cleaning up from Helene. And I didn't think about this until yesterday, but everybody's pulling furniture and stuff out of their houses to get it out from mold, which means that you're setting a bunch of potential projectiles out on the street. So now those winds are going to come through, pick up those sofas and slam them into the next house. So it seems like it's going to be a lot worse in terms of the damage. So I think that it is going to go up quite a bit. I don't know what that actually looks like, but I can't see insurance premiums staying the same. And I think that they're not going to be able to charge enough in Florida alone to make up for this. So it would make sense to me that premiums across the country are going to go up. Which will be interesting to watch, right? Because then you're going to have a lot of people that are going to start getting into this, well, I'm going to self-insure mentality. And we've got a lot of investors that are already at that point of, I'm just going to start self-insuring my properties. So what happens? Does the government step in and start backing these insurance companies? Will another private company find a way to solve this problem? I don't know. But it will be very interesting to watch. Robert is saying, Joe, it is always a challenge to see everything when it comes to value add. Having contingency in place is critical. Yep, couldn't agree more. It's super, super important. Always nice to have an A, B, C, D, Z plan if you want. Joseph is saying you are based. I hope that's a good thing. If so, I appreciate it. Thank you, Joseph. Let's see. Chris, do you have a method for finding off-market commercial, doing virtual driving for dollars, going through maps, or do you mainly do the mailers? Good question. So I've never done any virtual driving for dollars. I'm a very picky investor. I like to call myself a lazy investor. So I invest within my neighborhood for the most part. So everything that I own, the majority of what I own is within a 10-minute radius of this office that I'm sitting in right now. Which means that I can very easily drive past everything that I want to buy or everything that I have bought every day. So For me, driving for dollars is literally driving to and from work, right? It's like, let's just take different roads to work every day and see kind of, how things are looking. Um, I could see how you could do it virtually. The problem with Google Maps, though, is that they don't update all the time. And so you might have something that's old that may not be, completely correct. Mailers are great. Mailers work incredibly well in commercial real estate. I say that all the time, and I don't think that anybody has actually taken me up on that. If you have listened to me and you've started sending commercial mailers out to anybody and you've started finding deals, please let me know. Like, I would love to hear your story because I talk about it all the time. It's incredibly successful for me. And I don't think anybody takes me seriously when I say that mailers are phenomenal, because on the residential side of things, everybody and their grandmother is sending out mailers. You got the yellow paper and you got, whatever all this other stuff is. And so people's inboxes are just overloaded with, junk mail. Whereas on the commercial side, nobody does any of that. I mean, I don't think I've ever gotten a letter from anybody trying to buy any of my commercial properties. I've gotten some of those really annoying text messages from residential wholesalers thinking that my commercial property is residential and they want to wholesale it. And when I tell them the price that I would take, they never text me back again, which is actually a pretty good way to get them to stop bothering you. But yeah, I mean, it's networking with commercial real estate brokers. It's networking at random events. It's, getting out and talking. I mean, the social media thing has been phenomenal for me. I mean, I've found some amazing deals just by talking about it. Right. I mean, that's how this whole thing started, right? Back in 2016, 2017, I started an Instagram channel or Instagram page, or account, whatever the hell you want to call them. I started that just to show the behind the scenes of commercial real estate and start finding clients, right? And so that worked out really well. And I mean, I even posted on my story one time driving to Chattanooga and found a deal off market, right? Was under contract the next week. So it makes it really easy when your entire circle is in commercial real estate. And, I've got wholesalers and contractors and brokers and other investors and, developers, residential agents, whatever it is, everybody in my Rolodex that I'm constantly reaching out to and talking to and having those conversations with, because guess what? They're going to come across something that's a great fit for me and I don't have to, I'll buy it, Chris, for your mailers, do you try to target distressed commercial or just blast them out to everyone in your buy box area? Everyone in my buy box, because you never know. I mean, worst case scenario, it's too nice and I get to meet an interesting investor, right? Like somebody that might be able to, again, refer me to another deal or introduce me to their neighbors. Who knows? So I'll typically say, hey, look, I'm going to, mail every 10,000 square foot building or under in this zip code, right? Just hit them with a mailer once a quarter, once a month, whatever it is. And it's a good way to stay in touch. I mean, look, I've had people call me like 18 months after sending a mailer. People keep them. Joe's saying, actually getting ready to send out a mailer for some industrial land. Do you typically just send letters of intent or blind offers? I actually don't send either, because I think that it looks a little spammy to be sending an offer, because I think a lot of people know nowadays that it's not a real offer. That, or you've just got to spend a ton of time making sure that you're researching every single property that you're sending one of these on. And so I just say, hey, let's get a call. I'd love to come by and see the property and put together an offer if it makes sense for both of us. Sed is saying, hey, do you think the best way to become a real estate developer is to work for a real estate developer development firm for several years before starting out on your own? Absolutely. Hands down, the best way to learn is to go work for somebody else and get paid to learn while watching them do it. You'll also meet a lot of great people on the way, and it's a great way to do it. Robert is saying, I regularly send out mailers. How about 500 per month? Working on 3 deals right now for my last 2 months mailers. Hell yeah, Robert. That's what I'm talking about, man. I was hoping. So Robert's one of my students in the CRE Accelerator, and that's awesome to see. So out of 500 mailers a month, he's working on 3 deals from the last 2 months. So that's 1,000 mailers, gave him 3 potential deals to work on. Those aren't bad numbers, really. Because I mean, here's the thing: it costs you like 50 cents a mailer. So Robert probably spent $500. If one of those deals closes, then you're looking at $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in commissions if you're just a broker, maybe more. It depends on the size of the deal. Or if you're wholesaling it, it could be 50, 75, $100,000. Or if you're buying it, you could be making several $100,000. There's a lot of benefits to that. It costs you $500. All right, last one, and I got to roll. Texan on Cape Cod. What's up, Taylor? What do you see as the lowest hanging fruit in CRE in Nashville in 2025? Also, what cologne do you wear? I don't wear cologne. I just wear Le Labo beard oil, which, damn, it smells really, really good. Lena got it for me, and man, it's great. Lowest hanging fruit in commercial real estate in Nashville in 2025 is actually what Taylor did. Taylor converted a motel here into micro apartments. And I still think that with the affordable housing issues that Nashville has, finding these older abandoned motels and converting them into apartments is absolutely the way to go. I've got to run. Appreciate you guys for joining me. We will see y'all next week, Tuesday, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time for office hours. We'll catch y'all then. Are you looking to take the next step toward investing in commercial real estate but don't know where to go? CRE Central offers a comprehensive education and coaching platform designed to help you get started. Our online courses cover a wide range of topics, from the fundamentals to advanced strategies, ensuring you have the knowledge and skills needed to thrive in this competitive industry. As a member, you'll gain access to our exclusive online community and monthly group coaching calls, providing you with valuable networking opportunities and personalized guidance from experienced professionals. Whether you're a beginner or looking to take your career to the next level, CRE Central has the resources you need. Visit www.crecentral.com to learn more.